Good morning. It is day number 12, Monday. It's actually almost on the verge of being warm this morning. First time in 4 days. And it's dry, which is more important. This morning, it's a little after 9 o'clock. I am headed over first to get some breakfast and then to the Nautilus Museum. And I'm looking forward to it. It's probably been 20 years since I've been on the Nautilus, so that'll be a nice revisit. And I look forward to it, and then I'm going to work my way home. Got a few minute ride up to the Nautilus, about 10 miles away. I have to go across the bridge that I crossed yesterday. Clothes are dried out for the most part. Bike is dried out, and everything's ready to go. Looking forward to today's ride. Look at that, sunshine. First time in a few days. Crossing over the Thames River, headed east. This is where Groton is, U.S. Naval Base for submarines, city of Groton. A lot of famous sailors that pass through this area. Got to look at the bridge I just passed over. There's the outline of two different submarines, the early USS Holland and the newer USS Ohio. That's a pretty crazy demonstration. This is the sail from NR-1, which is a U.S. Navy submarine that was nuclear powered, only had 13 crew members, launched in 1969. She could stay down for 30 days at a time, and she was only 150 feet long. Did top secret missions for a while. She was finally retired in 2008. This is the US X-1, which was a midget submarine placed in service in 1955 until 1957. They had trouble with her propulsion, which is apparently using hydrogen peroxide, which exploded, so they turned it into a diesel midget submarine. And she was then went in service from November 1960 to February 1973. It's a launch hatch, a ballistic missile. Flag from the USS Flasher. Selection of mines and torpedoes. And rockets. And the Nautilus. Original copy of Jules Verne. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Commanding officer stateroom. XO stateroom. Navigation. cruise berthing. We're back at the torpedo room. So that was the Nautilus. Rather spacious submarine compared to some of the World War II ones I visited. The Nautilus and the Submarine Museum are really excellent places to visit. It's all free. I ended up spending there a lot more time than I thought I was going to. I was probably there 3 hours. 1 hour of which was a film about World War II submarines, which was quite well done. I learned a lot, aside from visiting the museum and the Nautilus itself. And I'm taking I-95 to get across the two rivers. So I already made it across the Thames. Now I'm going to get across the Connecticut River. Good morning. It is a little after 10 o'clock. I am in New York. At the end of day 12, after visiting Nautilus, I went back to my house in Connecticut and was really planning on ending my tour of ships at that point. But it just so happened that I was watching one of Ryan Zemansky's YouTube videos. He's one of the curators for Battleship New Jersey. I'll try to put a link to their channel below. But he was visiting, and it's a great, he's got a great YouTube channel, by the way. So I highly recommend watching. He's got quite a few followers. But he was visiting 3 ships over in Buffalo, New York, and then subsequently visited a submarine, the Cod, in Cleveland, Ohio. So after attending to some personal matters at home, I decided I was going to get out, and even though it's technically probably not the Northeast United States, I was going to go visit those ships because they look like they A, were ships and vessels that I hadn't seen before, or have not seen before, and B, they looked like they were in great shape and were well worth the visit. So I'm calling this day number 13, even though there was a gap of a couple weeks between the day 12 and day 13, but we're going to be generous about it and call it day 13 of the trip. I am in New York, headed north on Route 22, headed towards Buffalo. It's going to take me a couple days to get out there, so I'm going to stop at a state campground in the Finger Lakes region of New York, work my way out to Buffalo to watch or view those 3 ships, then work my way down to Cleveland, and then work my way back through New York to my home in Connecticut. So I'm guessing it's going to take 5 or 6 days. The weather is supposed to be hot with occasional thunderstorms, but other than that, the weather is supposed to be decent. I was going to cross my favorite Bear Mountain Bridge to cross the Hudson River, but the New England area has had some significant rainfall in the last couple days, and apparently there was a landslide or two on the approaches to the Bear Mountain Bridge, so right now it's closed. It's not really terrible inconvenience. I'm going to head north on the eastern side of the Hudson River up to near Albany, and then cross one of the bridges up there to head west into New York. Turning onto Winkle Mountain Road. That is New York farmland. That's a pretty view. This area is Ancram, or Ancram Dale, New York. Little borough here. It looks like I'm going to cross the Hudson River at the Rip Van Winkle Bridge here in a couple minutes. There's the mighty Hudson up here, a little bit narrower than down south. Still a big river. village of Catskill, 1806. Their sign had a picture of Rip Van Winkle, so there must be some connection between this town and the story. Still heading north and west on Route 145. Looks like making my way across the state of New York. And headed west on Route 20. It's pretty empty here. A little surprising given that it's middle of July. The camper over there. Everything, all the other sites are empty, at least in this loop. So that's the end of today on Tuesday, day 13 of the trip. It's discontinuous, but I'm still keeping count. Since this is looking for all the ships I can in the area that are within fairly easy reach of my motorcycles. Tomorrow I hope to get to Buffalo by midday and then spend the afternoon looking at the 3 ships that are there. There's a little bit of a breeze running right now, so hopefully that'll keep up overnight to keep things cool. And I look forward to getting to Buffalo tomorrow.